Hey guys, Brian Fisher with Edge Fitness, and want to start today off with asking you a question. Have any of you ever flown a plane, or maybe have you ever been in the cockpit of an airplane? You've probably at least seen, in movies or a picture, something like that, of what the inside of that cockpit looks like on an airplane. There's so much going on in there, so many dials and buttons and bells and whistles and all the things. For someone who's even probably a very experienced pilot, that could be very intimidating, very distracting, hard to know what to focus on, what to key in on, what to really look at to know what's going on. Okay? Our health and fitness journey can be a lot the same way. There's kind of a strategy that comes from that idea of being in a cockpit and what pilots focus on. It's called the 5 dials strategy. Just did our newsletter on that today and just kind of wanted to break that down. We talked about kind of the health and fitness, or fitness in particular there, and wanted to apply that to nutrition for our Tuesday chat here. When we talk about those 5 dials, a pilot will kind of key in on 5 of the most important things. They'll key on just those 5 dials so they don't go crazy and get paralysis by analysis by looking at so much. They'll focus on those 5 dials. And if something is off on one of those dials, then they break it down to, again, maybe the next 5 dials that are important to help them get the bigger picture of what's going on there, what's not going the way that it should to prevent, potentially an accident, a crash, or them being on or off course. It doesn't take much to be off course when you're flying across country to completely miss your destination. Health and fitness, especially into nutrition, can be very much the same. People really get caught up in, counting their calories, looking at their macros, getting in all the minutia of what goes into nutrition. I've competed in a natural bodybuilding show before back in the day. It was back in 2005, so yeah, 15 years already. Wow. And I've still got my notebook from the 12-week diet that I was on for that, where I tracked for every single day, every single meal, to the gram, to the calorie, to the percentage, breaking all that down, all those little details, kind of some of the level 3 nutrition strategies that, if you have a good base on level 1, level 2, you can get into some of those level 3 strategies, but too many people want to just really dive in there. And I look back at that notebook and it's like, wow, that was a lot of effort, a lot of time. The cost of getting lean was very high at that point. I gather with friends and they would be eating pizza and cookies, and I would just sit there and kind of not eat anything because it was past my time for the strategy I was using at that time to eat that kind of food and eating that food at all. It worked very well for that period, but it wasn't sustainable. And focusing in on all those different details, looking at everything that nutrition can give us, from, again, your calories, your macros, worrying about what supplements you should take, worrying about should it be keto versus paleo within that, should I go plant-based, should I go raw foods, caveman. There's so many different options and so many different dials that we can really look at, and obviously not hitting on near all of them on things. Okay? Whatever is important to you, what is your destination? Where are you going? So you have to know that first for health, for fitness, to really be able to dial it in on any of these 4 pillars: movement, nutrition, in this case, recovery, mindset, to help you best get to that destination. That's where, if you can kind of hone in on, we like the dial up, dial down, don't hit pause approach. So these 5 dials, we can take those, whatever area that's in, and sometimes it's simpler just to say 4 with those 4 pillars. They can be your dials as well. What's your movement dial look like? What does your nutrition dial look like in this case? We kind of use that concept as, on your worst day, what is still the one thing that you could do? And on your best day, what is the most that you can handle? And setting that dial to help you not hit pause, but to also just kind of see, based on how life is going, how your progress is or isn't going, what do I need to change or tweak within that? Okay? We look at some very simple habits of, am I eating mindfully? Okay? Am I hitting my portions for protein, for my vegetables, kind of focusing on those first, for my fats? Am I hydrated? Those are some dials that you can definitely look at, and those dials can definitely change as you're going through the process, as you're going through your journey. Maybe your body composition is one of the dials that you look at and you say, is my body composition not just your body weight, but your body composition, what it's made up of? It's what body composition means, is what your body weight is made up of. How is that changing? How is my mood changing? How is my energy changing? How is my focus? How are my clothes fitting? Am I hitting those numbers? Am I getting those dials in check? And if I'm not, my body composition isn't changing, what do I then need to look at underneath there that will work in towards that being pushed in the right direction? So coming up with those 5 dials, or however many might work for you. Maybe 5's too much. I wouldn't go too much more than that, because then again, you kind of start getting information overload. We want to simplify that, but also be able to kind of break that down. That's why we pick some of those basics, and why we say, you know, are you getting your portion sizes? That could be a great dial, because if you are dialed in on your portion sizes, that palm for protein, the fist for vegetables, cup hand for carbs, thumb for fats. Hope you guys, if you're following along, you've gotten that by now, but are you actually using it? And if you are, how consistently are you using that? That's the big difference between level 1 and level 2. Right? You don't have to get into those level 3 except for a short period of time. Like I said, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, something like that is a kind of standard time for aesthetic change, but it's very aggressive sometimes too aggressive, and the cost of getting lean is so high that, again, you can't sustain it for very long. You can do it, but that cost is really so high, and you have to pay attention to so much. That's part of why it's so hard to sustain it. And when you simplify it down to just a few things to really key in on, and then if something is off on one of those, such as, again, your body composition, then you can break that down and kind of look at what makes that, what are the habits that will drive that outcome-based change to help you really get on track again, or maybe even continue. Hey, I'm doing really well. I've made some changes. I started out here. I've made some changes. I've made some changes. Now the available change that you have left to make becomes a lot more narrow, and it's, again, that cost of getting lean. Maybe you don't want to go much more than this, because that's not a whole lot of a room to stay on that path. You want a little bit of room to have some boundaries, be able to live your life, but live it the way that you want to. So having those dials helps you to key in on what you need to focus on within there. And within each one of those, I do recommend having a dial set for your movement, for your nutrition, for your mindset, for your recovery, and hitting some of those basic habits. And if you need more help with something like this beyond just this brief overview of it, we'd love to help you out. One way you can do that is to subscribe and share, so you and your family and friends can keep up on the great tips that we have here. Another is, leave a comment, reach out to us, tell us what's going well, what's not, and how can we help you take those next steps to keep going, to improve your nutrition, your movement, your recovery, your mindset, and get those 4 pillars, those 4 dials potentially working for you to help you keep going on your journey. And we'd love to help you out if we can. So again, subscribe and share. That's one way. Contact us. We'd love to help you out there. Check out other social media outlets as well. Great tools and resources for you there as well. And hopefully this helps you to get a little more dialed in on your nutrition for today, especially with those holidays coming up. Focus on just those key areas within there rather than everything that is out there. Focus on your nutrition. That no supplement's going to really help you through the holidays. Focus on the food. Focus on whole foods first. Get that down, and that can help you through any and every day, including these holidays coming up, so you can really focus on the family and all your faith and your friends and everything else that goes into the holiday time, not just the food. So hope that helps. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.